The Rangers and Angels' long-standing rivalry has gone neck and neck in recent seasons. Tonight, a pair of lefties take the mound. Martin Perez gets his second start for Texas opposite LA's Tyler Skaggs. It's Game 2 from Globe Life Park. Ready for the middle game of this three-game series. Indeed, it is a Game 2. And the Rangers so far, they have not lost a Game 2 this season. And they hope to keep that trend going tonight. All the stars out for this one. Angels and Rangers from beautiful Globe Life Park tonight. Hello again, everybody. Great to be with you. I'm Dave Raymond with CJ Nitkowski. The Angels in town, so that means all the questions about one guy not in the lineup today, and that is Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, we will not see Ohtani. Of course, he's a right-handed pitcher, but he's a left-handed hitter. And with Martin Perez going tonight, Mike Sosa, the manager of the Angels, decided no Ohtani in the DH spot.
I guess that means it's good news that Joey Gallo isn't also a pitcher, because he's in against a left-hander today, and he has really responded to that move down in the lineup.
Yeah, a little bit surprising. We thought Joey Gallo would be the number 2-hole hitter for the Rangers, but he has been dropped, and he has been swinging a much better bat ever since then. Maybe a little bit more comfortable for Joey Gallo. And, of course, we know about the great pull power for Joey Gallo, and we've continued to see that from him this season. But how about only two walks over his last 3 games and no strikeouts, and hitting the ball up the middle, certainly a good sign, as well as driving the ball to left field. So Joey Gallo right now, ever since he had gotten dropped in the order, does look a lot better.
Doing a lot of things really well right now, and today we'll face a left-hander, Tyler Skaggs, who has not had a lot of success against the Rangers in the past.
He sure hasn't, and that's certainly also some good news for the Rangers, even though he is a left-handed starter, and he's got some pretty good stuff. When you look at the history, and it is history that favors the Texas Rangers, and there's something about a team that you pitch against that always seems to have your number, regardless of how your year is going. That is always in the back of your mind. So Tyler Skaggs has gotten off to a nice start, but he knows the Rangers have been a nemesis, and the Rangers certainly hope that continues.
All right, let's complete the fully left-handed open today, and let's talk about Martin Perez. What did you like in his first start?
Yeah, he looked really good. You know, Martin Perez, no walks for him in that start, just the 1 strikeout, but he pounded the strike zone. He was aggressive. I thought we saw some really good things out of him. And Dave, listen, it should be all about the lefties. All open lefties are the best opens.
I agree. So to that end, we are not done with Martin Perez. Just his second start of the year. So why not? Let's put him in the spotlight when we come back.
trust in what he has and not be too emotional out there on the mound. Try to channel that emotion in a positive way instead of letting it overtake him on the mound. And you saw the numbers in his first start. 5 1/3 innings, 10 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 1 strikeout to no walks. So something to build on there, but Martin definitely looking to improve upon that here in start number 2, guys.
Yep, love the way he has looked so far, both in spring training and the early part here in the regular season. So Perez with a big start tonight for the Rangers, and his role only increasing with some news we got today. We'll get to that in a minute. We said at the top, no Shohei Ohtani in the lineup for the Angels today. And that's, look, it's a game plan that is still being written by the Angels. And in fact, their general manager, Billy Epler, addressed that very issue.
It's been, something that I haven't really encountered before, a two-way player. There isn't a playbook for this. And so for us to start, putting together a playbook, a number of us flew to Japan in January to sit down with the club that was successful at it. So we sat down with his former club in Japan and just really tried to get a sense of how much he can take, given week. He's a 23-year-old prospect with all the tools and all the ceiling in the world, and it's up to us to get the best out of him.
Yeah, so they're playing it conservatively. Yesterday was the day after a start, so he wasn't going to play in that game no matter what. It's the only right-handed pitcher that the Angels were scheduled to see in this series. Now today against the lefty Martin Perez, not in the lineup. And it'll be we'll have to wait and see tomorrow if he'll be in there against Matt Moore.
Yeah, it's interesting because you look at the numbers for Ohtani in Japan, and he actually did pretty well against left-handed pitching in his time in the MPB. His home run rate, his home runs per plate appearance were actually better. He hit a home run every 17 at-bats when he was in Japan against lefties, and it was a home run, I believe, every 21 at-bats against right-handed pitching. And so that's certainly something that is a good sign as far as whether or not you believe he can handle left-handed pitching. But in the meantime, right now for Mike Sosa, they've decided that they're going to give him at least this one start off from a lefty. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
We'll also see what else they have. The Angels at 8-3 coming in. They'll go with Zach Cozart leading it off. Then Mike Trout, Justin Upton, and Albert Pujols, the DH. Same top 4 as last night. Then it's Andrelton Simmons, Jeffrey Marte, Chris Young, Martin Maldonado catching, and Luis Valbuena with the start at third base. Perez gets us started. Fastball upstairs for ball 1. And we are underway on a 71-degree evening here at Globe Life Park.
Take a look at the pitch arsenal for Martin Perez. This goes back to the start of last season. 59% of the time he'll throw a fastball that'll sit 92 to 94 miles an hour. He's got the slider, changeup, and curveball for those secondary offerings. A lot of fastballs from Martin. Very good ground ball rate, 48% last year. And the guy, as we well know, does an excellent job getting the double play.
He goes 3-1 here on Cozart. Cozart had a couple of hits last night out of that leadoff spot. And fouls this one away. It's a full count. Cozart, 32 years old. Today gets the start at second base. An all-star in the National League last year at shortstop. And being asked to play third base by and large this year. Is this one spoiled again? Ian Kinsler was signed to be the second baseman this year, and he's injured. Now he's ready to come off the disabled list. There was some talk that Kinsler would have been in today's game. Now they're talking about holding him out until later this week. 3-2. Cozart hits this one well out to right field. Robinson running over from center, but it's Mazzara. And there's one away.
Well, let's take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by Methodist Health Systems. And Ryan Rua is out in left. Drew Robinson, as you just mentioned, in center with Nomar Mazzara in right. And it is Adrian Beltre and Elvis Andrews on the left side of that infield with Jurickson Profar at second and Joey Gallo at first. Robinson Chirinos behind the plate. So sounds like Jurickson Profar will get himself an extended look now at second base with Rougned Odor.
Mike Trout fouls off. Strike one.
You know, part of that injury with Odor, which I'd kind of forgotten about, is they felt like he first aggravated that hamstring in Oakland. Remember, he stretched for that. It wasn't a double play ball, but that throw at second, and he had to do kind of the first baseman stretch, and we saw him come up a little bit limp, so he may have aggravated it just a little bit, and then it got worse in last night's game when he had to hustle back to first base. And so Jurickson Profar is a luxury. We talked about him a lot. You can move him around the entire infield, and how Jeff Bannister was going to try to get him regular at bats. Hopefully, he's looked really good so far. And now it looks like a streak of, I don't know, 2 to 3 weeks where he's going to have a shot to be the starting second baseman for the Rangers.
Perez just missed on that last one, and this one fouled back. 2-2 on Mike Trout. Yeah, so Odor to the disabled list today, and they're talking about 3 weeks for him. Doug Fister also to the disabled list, and that was kind of the surprising news today. Fister came out of the game yesterday after 5 innings, and he had some soreness in that right hip, so he's placed on the 10-day DL. Could be a couple, maybe 3 weeks for him. And golf foul. Stays 2-2.
And here's that play. Rougned Odor had gone out on the shallow fly ball and went about as far as he possibly could. And as he was busting it back to first, he looked like he was about to head first slide, but he felt something in his hamstring, which had him pull up. And obviously, he was safe on that play, but had to be removed from the game.
Strike 3 called on Mike Trout. He has a word for plate umpire Todd Tishner on his way back to the dugout, but there are 2 gone.
Well, there's not a lot of margin for error against Mike Trout, and this is an excellent job by Martin Perez painting this ball on the inside corner. You'll see it there on Fox Tracks, and Mike Trout thought maybe it was in off the plate. Looked like a 2-seam fastball and had a little bit of movement on the way back, and excellent location there from Martin Perez.
It's interesting. You see him shaking his head as that one was headed to the corner, almost as if he knew.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
He's like, you know, Todd Tishner's probably going to call this. Let me see if I can let him know that he shouldn't call it, which obviously he had 0 influence on how that call went down. You can kind of sense when it's coming, right? Ooh, this guy might call it. It's a really good shot of it. Watch Mike Trout here as this ball's crossing. No, almost right away he wants to say no. And Todd Tishner said, no, actually, that is a strike.
Yeah, I think he knew that he got surprised a little bit on that one, the 2-0. And that one in the very same spot that misses. And this is what we've seen from Martin Perez early on here. And a lot of it's attributable apparently to Bartolo Colon's influence, who's told him, hey, man, don't back off. Attack these guys on that inside corner.
Martin Perez has a good fastball. When you look at left-handed starters around the league, he usually will sit right around top 3 or 4 as far as fastball velocity goes. And when you have that kind of velocity, certainly the right idea to be aggressive with that fastball in the zone.
He loses Upton. 2-out walk. We'll have to deal with Albert Pujols. Pujols, another home run yesterday. Gives him 616 in his career, 7th all time. So he will no doubt catch and pass Ken Griffey Jr. this year. Has a shot in the next 2 years of getting to Willie Mays as he hits this one into left field. Rule with a good job on the backhand to cut it off. Throws it back into third, but Pujols with a base hit. Upton over to third, and the Angels have him on the corners.
There's no 2 ways about it. Albert Pujols can still hit. Saw the home run yesterday, and here's a 2-seam fastball for Martin Perez that looked like it came back over the plate a little bit more. In the middle, and Albert all over that pitch and lines it. And watch Ryan Ruin, knowing that he didn't think he had a chance to get Upton, but his only chance was going to make sure he got that ball in as quickly as possible. Well, 2 outs, Upton easily gets the third.
Andrelton Simmons, he had a couple of hits yesterday, scored 3 runs. And Perez lets him to foul this one away. So a 2-out walk followed by the Pujols single. Angels threatening in the first inning. They were 4 for 15 last night with runners in scoring position. Now time called right before that one delivered. Simmons has been off to a good start. He and Elvis Andrus share the major league lead with 17 hits apiece. Perez with a lengthy pause. And that one gets away from Chirinos. Here comes Upton, and he'll score. No throw offered. That one just got away from Chirinos. And a good read by Upton to make it 1-0 Angels.
Looked like this might have been the changeup from Martin Perez. Yeah, there's a good shot out of it right there. Good changeup grip, and you see him turn it over. And just kind of an unlucky bounce as well. Just short hopped Robinson Chirinos, but caught the heel of the glove, and you see that ball skip away and probably caught everybody by surprise because it wasn't as if it was a long hop and a real tough one to block. Just took a little bit of a higher bounce than Robinson was anticipating.
1-1 pitch. Little tapper by the mound toward third. Good gather up by Beltre, but his throw pulls Gallo off the bat. Well, Simmons is on. Pujols gets to third.
Yeah, unfortunate break for Martin Perez as he made a really good pitch here. Ball just wasn't hit very hard, and so Adrian Beltre's got to come across and to deal with Albert Pujols a little bit. But even if that throw had reached in the air, I'm not sure they would have gotten Andrelton Simmons, who runs well. Would have been very close.
What a base hit for Simmons. Brings up the 6th hitter in the inning, Jeffrey Marte. Marte with limited at bats, 6 for 16 so far this year. And he takes strike one. Pardon me, ball one. Marte with a start at first tonight. Last year appeared in 45 games with the Angels. They used him a number of different ways. 28 of those games at first, 10 at third base, handful in left field. Mike Scioscia moving guys around a little bit. We've seen him already. Last night was moving guys around just a little bit. 25th pitch of the inning for Perez, and a ground ball hit sharply through into left field. 2-0 Angels.
Take a look at this pitch and looked like a fastball in that 2-0 count. Martin wanted to make sure he got himself a strike, and this one slightly elevated. Good swing there from Marte as he hits that ball hard to left field.
Perez takes a moment here to regroup. A walk and then 3 straight hits. And now gets right fielder Chris Young. And there's the inside corner.
This is a good offense that they have here in Los Angeles, with the Angels leading Major League Baseball in runs, hits, home runs, slugging percentage. Right now it's a deep lineup. The fact that Ohtani has proven that he's a viable big league hitter has only made them that much better. And the fact that they've been without Kinsler too. And
Well,
just gives you an idea how deep they really are here.
Yeah, I was just going to say, with regard to Kinsler, that's part of the reason why they feel no compunction to rush him back. I mean, take a couple extra days, make sure he's fully healthy. Down in the dirt. 2-1 on Young. Now, if they were 3-8 versus 8-3, well, he might well be in the lineup tonight. But they can take their time with Kinsler. They don't have to overexpose Ohtani.
And that's Mike Sosa and all those years of experience and playing it smart. They know that if they want to challenge for the division, obviously they got to deal the Rangers, the A's, and the Mariners, but we know the Astros are a really good team on paper as well. And so you think about the long of it for Mike Sosa. If that means he can give one of his guys an extra day, he does it.
Another base hit into left field. They'll wave Simmons. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's offline, and it allows everybody else to move up another base. So Young with a base hit makes it 3-0 Angels. All of this happening with 2 outs in the inning.
Yeah, it was a fly out and a strikeout to start the inning, and then all of a sudden the Angel bats have come alive. Here's the pitch from Martin. Two-seam fastball. Stayed up a little bit. It was on the outside corner, and then this is kind of interesting here. Watch Ryan Rue. He has got a really strong arm, but not with Andrelton Simmons running and 2 outs. And as soon as both Marte and Young realized that this ball was going to go over the cutoff man's head, they both took off for second and third respectively. So now that means 2 more runners in scoring position here with 2 outs for Perez as he gets ready to face Maldonado.
So yesterday Pfister had to leave after 5 innings with the injured hip. Perez gets this one into Maldonado for strike 1. Martin scuffling in this first inning, and already we're seeing some bodies stirring out in the Rangers pen. Marte at third, Young at second. Inside, 1-1. Our Southwest Live look, there you see it, Jesse Chavez, the former Angel, preparing to come in the game if needs be. And that's why he's out there. I mean, he's a guy who can go long for you, give you a handful of innings in relief if necessary.
Well, what's interesting about the way the Ranger bullpen is built right now is that with Doug Pfister going on the DL, we'll make the assumption that possibly Bartolo Colon would come out of the bullpen and go into the rotation. I don't think there's anything been officially announced in that regard just yet. But that'll be certainly interesting as far as how Jeff Bannister handles things. They have multiple relievers that can throw multiple innings. Jesse Chavez is certainly one. Bartolo Colon is another. Tony Barnett has been activated. Matt Bush has been throwing multiple innings in his last couple of outings, although he threw an inning in the third last night. It's a deep bullpen. There are no shortage of arms down there, but certainly Jeff Bannister would like to avoid getting into that pen too early tonight.
The 1-2. Square the count on Maldonado. Martin trying to get himself together here, just his second start of the year. And 5 1/3 innings in his first outing, allowed 3 runs on 10 hits. No walks and a strikeout. 2-2, and it's a full count. And all of this began with a 2-out walk to Upton. Oh, there you see Jeff Bannister checking in that bullpen, see what the story is. Certainly an indication that Martin Perez may not be long for this game if he doesn't get Maldonado here. Saw a similar situation on Sunday against the Blue Jays when Hamels allowed 4 runs in the first inning. 3-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. So Perez battles back and gets Maldonado to end the inning, but the Angels played 3 runs in the first. Now the Rangers coming to bat. Adrian Beltre is the cleanup man. Nomar Mazar, Robinson, Chirinos catching. And down at the bottom of the order, Gallo, Rua, and Robinson to round things out.
Some small changes in that lineup tonight, and these guys will be going up against the left-hander Tyler Skaggs.
First offering to Chu, and that one on the corner for a strike. Skaggs 6'4", 225. He's 26 years old. And a breaking ball misses low. Chu leading it off again tonight. He's been getting on at a 367 clip. And he hits this ball high in the air out to center field. Trout ranging back though and has plenty of room.
Let's take a look at the pitch arsenal for Tyler Skaggs, the lefty. This goes back to the beginning of last year. Very simple repertoire: 60% fastballs, 32% curveballs, and then the occasional changeup from the left-hander. The batting average against on that curveball just 225. Back to the beginning of last year, he has allowed a couple of home runs on that pitch, and he's probably thrilled right now with those 3 runs. In his previous 2 starts, he got a combined 1 run of support. He came in with a 0.8 run support average in his first 2 starts. So he has to be encouraged by that.
His 1-0 to Profar. It's the strike zone, 1-1.
Which makes the fact that he actually has a win even more impressive.
Yeah.
He threw really well in his first game, 6 1/3, no runs against the Oakland A's. They won that game 2-1. That's when the 1 run was scored. The second start against the Indians went 4 2/3, got a no decision. But it's been a good start so far for Tyler Skaggs. 11 innings pitched, just 2 earned runs allowed, 10 strikeouts to 2 walks.
He got off to a good start last year too. Opened the season in the Angels rotation for the first time since 2014. And then I don't know, he was 1-0 with a 142 earned run average after like 3 starts. But it was a start here in late April where he strained his right oblique and he would go on the disabled list, miss 85 games, and kind of gummed up the season for him. And a liner down to first base, taken on a hop by Marte. I'll go to the bag for out number 2. Well, now Elvis Andrus will take on Tyler Skaggs today. Brought to you by AARP. And Andrus' numbers against Skaggs: 438 average with a home run. And his OPS is on base plus slugging 1238. So some robust numbers against Skaggs. We saw a little earlier last inning, top of the inning anyway. Andrus is leading Major League Baseball with 17 hits, or at least came in tied for the league lead today. Andrelton Simmons already has a hit, so he's moved ahead of him by 1.
A little payback time right now for Elvis, who is off to an unbelievable start so far this season. You see the numbers through 12 games, a couple of home runs already, great batting average, and he just really has picked up where he left off from a year ago.
There's Simmons had the infield hit last inning, his 18th to start the year. Elvis was 17. His hit last night was a home run. 3-0. That home run last night extended his current hitting streak to 6 games. Yeah, and he takes ball 4. That one not even close. So Skaggs doesn't challenge Andrus. Rangers have a base runner now for Adrian Beltre. Beltre has now hit in 4 straight games. He's had a real nice homestand. 5 hits and 13 at bats so far.
And he's been very good against lefties. .368 batting average going back to the beginning of last season. So this is certainly a good matchup for Adrian.
Waiting for Beltre's first home run of the year. And he takes strike 2. Last night, Beltre's hit gave him 3,060 for his career, tying him with Craig Biggio on the all-time list. His next victim will be Cap Anson. 21 hits away from catching Anson. The 0-2 off the plate.
It'll be interesting to see how aggressive Elvis Andrus might be right here. We were talking about it yesterday. Rangers had done such an excellent job a year ago with their stolen bases. Just 3 so far this year, and a little bit tougher with the lefty Skaggs up there and Maldonado. But you see the lead right now at 11 feet. Maldonado has done a nice job. 22% thrown out over the course of his career, but going back to the beginning of last year, even better at 31%.
Maldonado with a throw back down behind Andrus. Not in time. Maldonado last year a Gold Glove winner.
Gotta keep an eye on this guy. He's got a great arm. Picking his spots. That one pretty close right there as Elvis is back just in time.
Meanwhile, the count goes to 2-2 on Beltre. And he shoots this one to the right side, but foul. We'll do it again. Beltre's put up some of his best numbers against the Angels in his career. Most games he's played against any one opponent. This is game number 249 against the Angels. And he has 45 career home runs, 161 RBIs. So he has produced against Los Angeles. 2-2. That one lined into right field, base hit. Andrus will stop at second. Beltre now 1 hit in front of Craig Biggio on the all-time hit list.
It was kind of surprising to see Skaggs stay away on Adrian Beltre, just because he is such a good hitter. He's been so good against lefties over the course of his career. You see the changeup grip, and Skaggs, every one of the pitches that he threw in that at bat to Adrian were all away, fastballs and changeups, and even based on the foul ball that we saw Adrian hit prior, you knew he was looking away and protecting away, and he got that changeup and drilled it to right field.
See you soon, Cap Anson. Just 20 more hits for Adrian Beltre. Breaking ball in there for a strike to Nomar Mazara. Told you earlier that the Angels last night were just 4 for 15 with runners in scoring position. See the good numbers from Mazara to start the year. The Rangers were 1 for 11 last night. Not exactly a clinic in clutch hitting yesterday for either team.
No, certainly not for the Angels, and you know their offense has been really good. No two ways about it. Overall, hitting .287 with runners in scoring position coming into tonight's game. And Nomar Mazara right now just got to look at 2 pretty sharp curveballs from Tyler Skaggs.
Fastball that time and fouled it off. Count stays 0-2. Mazara with Andrus at second and Beltre at first. And despite the bumpy top of the first inning, you know, a big hit here could certainly change the energy in this building and the feeling in this ball game if Mazara can come through. Interesting for Mazara, his only home run this year has not only come off a lefty, it's come off one of the stingiest lefties in Dallas Keuchel. Oh, 2. And he'll stay alive.
Good battle here by Nomar Mazara against Skaggs. The very first curveball that he saw in this at bat was a very good one, located down and away. The second one was pretty good, and you know, whenever you slow a bat down like that, breaking balls early, it makes that fastball appear a little bit quicker. And now for Nomar, just kind of in battle mode, 4 pitches into this at bat. He's seen the curveball, he's seen the fastball. I think he'll see the changeup left on left, as you see the opponent's average against that curveball for Skaggs. Up a little bit this year, but has been very good in previous seasons.
2-strike pitch and a comebacker. That one off Skaggs and nobody home. Everybody safe. Mazara with an infield hit and the bases are loaded.
We mentioned a good battle. I think the mistake here for Skaggs was giving Nomar Mazara a chance. You know what? I take that back. That's a pretty good pitch right there, and an excellent job by Nomar. And wondering, you know, had that ball not hit Skaggs, pretty good chance that Andrelton Simmons would have been able to field it. And Nomar did an excellent job trying to stay in the middle of the field with 2 strikes. You're just trying to fight it off. But look where Andrelton Simmons is. He probably gets to that ball. And it's nice to see the Rangers get a break on a ball that deflects off a pitcher. It seems like so far this year, every time it's happened, it's bounced right to a fielder.
Yeah.
And so this time it doesn't, finally. And a good job by Nomar. That's a tough at-bat. I tell you what, that was a really good curveball in the 5th pitch of that at-bat. And a lot of lefties are swinging and missing at that pitch. Nice job by Nomar.
Charles Nagy out there for a moment to talk to his pitcher. Rangers have to lead the league in hitters hit so far. Bases loaded for Robinson Chirinos. That one floats right in there for a strike. Chirinos, a couple of hits yesterday. That put an end to an 0 for 10 drought. And we were talking about it yesterday. Maybe a sign that he's coming out of it. Off the plate, 1-1. And they could use Robinson Chirinos to get going offensively. It's been a slow start for him.
A good matchup here for him against the lefties. Been much better against lefties going back to the beginning of last season. .333 batting average with 6 home runs. This will be the Rangers' 7th at bat with the bases loaded. They have yet to record a hit so far this year.
Now 0 for 2 last night with the bases loaded. Chirinos has 2 hits and 4 at bats in his career against Skaggs. A 1-1. Big swing and a miss. Strike 2.
He's rearing back with a good fastball. That 4-seamer's got a little bit of natural cut. That ball finished middle, but it started in the outer third of the plate.
There's a 2-out walk to Andrews. Back-to-back singles by Beltre and Mazara. The 1-2. And Chirinos stays alive.
Take a look at his breaking ball. That's down. Very nice job fighting that pitch off. You know, you watch Skaggs. He's got the strikeout curveball. You can see it. He's thrown it, but the Rangers have done a good job of fighting it off in 2 strike counts.
Chirinos takes high. 2-2 the count. Well, it's almost identical to the top of the first. First 2 Angels were retired before Upton walked. And then the Angels strung together 4 straight singles. 2-2. And Chirinos swings and misses strike 3. So they leave him loaded in the bottom of the first. It's a 3-0 Angels lead. He comes out here in the second inning a little sharper than he did in the first, as he faces the 9th place hitter, Luis Valbuena.
And the lone lefty that he'll see in this lineup tonight.
This one lined into center field, base hit for Valbuena.
Let's take a look at this 1-0 fastball from Martin Perez. Like the four-seamer. Split the plate a little bit. And Marte drills this one right back up the middle. A little bat flip on the single.
You elevate, you got to celebrate. Cozart takes a strike. Cozart 0 for 1. He flat out to left field in the first inning.
First opportunity here for Martin Perez. We talk about this a lot with him. He's been very proficient at getting double plays when he needs them.
Oh, there's that ground ball to second base. Profar the good flip to second. The relay on to first. In time double play. As you were saying.
Just like that, it's that easy. And Cozart is a guy who hits the ball in the air more than he hits it on the ground. But great location on a changeup. And look at Jurickson Profar with the nice option kind of backhand flip. It's a long one. You kind of get caught in between as an infielder whether you want to flip it or throw it overhand. And Elvis Andrus, by the way, showing off the arm a little bit on that one as well. And another beautiful turn by the Texas Rangers up the middle.
Just like that, 2 away, and Mike Trout takes the ball. Trout struck out looking in the first inning. Well, you do see this with some regularity, right? A guy goes out, has a little trouble in the first inning. Manager just tries to do what he can to nurse him through, because after that sometimes they settle right in.
And no doubt that was what Jeff Bannister was hoping for. Of course, we saw some action in the Ranger bullpen in that first inning as Jesse Chavez had gotten up after Martin got those first 2 outs, but then we saw 5 straight Angels reach base.
Trout hammers this one high in the air, deep out to left field, and that one is gone. Not even close. A massive home run by Mike Trout, his 4th of the season. And it makes it 4-0 Angels.
This one went a long way for Mike Trout. He was sitting in that hitter's count. He had just looked at a 2-1 fastball from Martin Perez, and so he comes back with the changeup, which you kind of like that pitch in that count. But watch Robinson Chirinos' glove is going to slide back over the middle of the plate a little bit. What that tells you is that that changeup probably had a little bit of cut on it, unintentional. Martin Perez would prefer to run that away from those right-handed hitters, and he's just such a good low ball pitcher. And so if you're trying to go, hitter, you're trying to go down and away, that ball cuts back over the middle. That is the nitro zone for Mike Trout.
Well, I should say 441 feet. Came off the bat 112 miles per hour. And that was one of those. The second it touched that bat, you knew where it was going to end up. Upton takes a strike. It's 2-1. 3 runs in the first, a run here in the second inning. Angels with 4 runs on 6 hits. Three and 1. Remember, it was Upton who drew the 2-out walk last inning to get things started. Last year had a real big bounce back year against left-handed pitchers. And he takes ball 4. He didn't get much of a chance in his first 2 at-bats here tonight.
Yeah, Upton is a guy for left-handed pitchers. You just have to be careful. 341 batting average against the southpaws since the beginning of last season. 12 home runs over that time as well. And just real dangerous against lefties, especially those that use their fastball as much as Martin Perez does. There is not a lot of holes in Justin Upton's swing and where you can go with a fastball.
Now Pujols. Got a base hit, scored a run in the first. One and one to count.
Let's take another look at the Mike Trout home run off this changeup from Martin Perez. Watch the glove. Watch where the ball comes back. You're going to see it on Fox Tracks as it sits right over the middle of the plate and down. And Mike Trout is just such a good low ball hitter. There's the exit velocity at nearly 112 miles per hour and that projected distance of 441 feet. Mike Trout, going back to last year, hitting .529 coming into tonight against left-handed changeups. It's a pretty good average. Now, if Martin gets some fade on that, gets it to finish on the corner or just off, it's a little bit of a different story, but just a small margin for error against a great hitter.
Perez just misses the outside corner there. 2-1 to Pujols. Pujols still a very dangerous hitter. .38 years old now. And Pujols closing in on 3,000 hits. He's 18 away after his single in the first inning. Trying to become the 32nd player all time to get to that magic number. Two-1, up and away. I mentioned last time already over 600 home runs in his career. Well, this gets pretty small when you're talking about guys with 3,000 hits and 600 home runs. Well, this currently with just 3 names on it. High pop-up. Shallow right field. And Mazzara able to get there. Inning is done, but the Angels add a run on the Trout homer. And after inning and a half, it's 4-0 Angels. Seventh tonight. When you look at his at-bats per home runs hit against starting pitchers. 1 every 8.3 at-bats. He takes a curveball for a strike.
Certainly like to see Joey have that trend continue here. See what he's done so far through his first 12 games. 3 home runs. Had a nice night last night with a couple of hits.
Played a couple of games in the 5th spot of the order yesterday, 6th. Today dropping to 7th in the order. One in the dirt. 2-1.
3 straight curveballs there from Skaggs against Joey. We'll see if he gives in here with a 4-run lead, if he'll go to the fastball inside the strike zone.
You see the shift against Gallo. Pretty dramatic. He's hit well against the shift this year, though. We've seen him go the other way with a lot more regularity here in 2018. In fact, we saw Toronto abort the shift at portions. This one swung on, hit the other way, and well, upped it on the run. They'll reach up and make the catch. 1 away.
Well, he gave it a run to the opposite field, and anytime Joey Gallo hits the ball in the air and we hear that sound, we know it's got a chance. Got under that one maybe just a little bit as we see Upton run it down right in front of the wall. I mentioned it earlier, Joey Gallo. We talked about it in our open, how good he has been swinging the bat, and we've seen some base hits up the middle to the opposite field. I think it tells you even that fly ball, although it's an out, he just missed it. The swing right now is where Joey Gallo wants it.
Rua swings and misses in a hole here, 0-2.
Aaron Sanchez working on a no-hitter tonight against the Baltimore Orioles into the 7th inning. He's actually facing former Ranger Andrew Cashner. Cashner's thrown 7 shutout innings against the Blue Jays tonight.
Fastball just a little bit away. 2-2 the count. Skaggs certainly has favored the curveball quite a bit here early on. Sort of tries to Rua in this spot. And there it is. It's a full count. One out, bottom of the 2nd inning. Skaggs escaped a bases loaded jam in the 1st. And this one grounded through the left side, a base hit for Rua.
A good job by Ryan Rua there, sitting in that full count and feeling pretty confident that he was likely going to get a fastball from the left-hander Skaggs. He's got good numbers against lefties going back to the beginning of last year. That batting average a tick over 300 against lefties with 1 home run. You see a lean back swing of Ryan Rua, able to get that one past Andrelton Simmons. Kind of makes sense that we've seen a good amount of curveballs from Skaggs with the lefties that he sees in the lineup, but also he's throwing that pitch for strikes. 67% of them for strikes overall tonight. 60% of his pitches have been for strikes, but the curveball has been in the zone more than the fastball or the changeup.
One-0 to Robinson. Swing and a miss. Even things up here. Drew batting 9th today, .214 average. Was collared yesterday in 4 tries. In fact, hitless now in his last 9 at bats. One from Skaggs. And catches a corner, strike 2.
The unfortunate part whenever we talk about, these days guys taking something special late into the game, we always worry about pitch count, right? Well, how far are they really going to let him go? Aaron Sanchez has only thrown 82 pitches through 7 innings. He may have a chance. They may let him go for it.
2-2.
See that reaction from Drew Robinson, and maybe a little, I don't know if it's frustration with himself, but quite sure if he didn't pick up on the rotation of that curveball. Maybe he thought it was going to hit him.
Rua off first. And this ball hit well down the right field line, and nobody home down there. That one may roll for a little while. Rua into third base. Tony Beasley's going to wave him. The throw headed back is cut off. RBI double for Drew Robinson. And the Rangers get on the board in the second inning.
Well, Drew Robinson had a reaction to the previous curveball that Tyler Skaggs threw him, and Skaggs came back with another one, hung another one, and a good job by Drew Robinson to stay back, drive this ball in the right field corner. An excellent base running. One look from Ryan Rua. Once he realized that ball was down, he took off. And a tough call here for Tony Beasley. You'll see Rua coming around, but Tony Beasley had to watch a little bit, and then he gives Rua the wave sign. He scores easily, but that's an excellent job by Ryan Rua, not slowing down at all as he came into third base, waiting until he got a sign from his third baseman, which allowed him to score.
Pitch just over the head of Chu, a breaking ball that just didn't bend enough for him.
That's 3 in a row that haven't been that good for Skaggs. We've seen some really good curveballs from him tonight, but the last 3 to Robinson and now Chu have not looked that good, but he keeps going right back to it.
Chu 0 for 1. There, it sweeps right in for a strike.
That's the good one there.
Chu has 5 hits on the homestand, including a home run. Takes a good fastball for strike 2. They're making Skaggs work a little bit. This will be the 20th pitch of the inning. Only 1 out. Lefty's 1-2. Swinging a ground ball, second base. Cozart is there. 2 gone, but Robinson advances to third.
Let's take one more look at the excellent base running here from Ryan Rua. You're going to see him turn, does a nice job as soon as he realizes that ball is down and Young has no chance at catching it, takes off. But look at him keeping a close eye on Tony Beasley and just not slowing down at all. It's not uncommon for a base runner to start to make some assumptions when his third base coach hasn't told him yet what they're doing, and a lot of times that guy will pull up. But Ryan Rua never broke stride, and a good read from Tony Beasley as well.
All right, so now Robinson is at third base. First pitch to Profar. He started to scoot up the box and take strike 1.
I'll tell you the other part of that too. You know, coaches generally, from fans, don't get a ton of credit. They're only noticed when they mess something up for the most part, right. Or if the team is struggling in one area, people are going to talk about the coaches. I was watching that entire play develop, and I was trying to play along a little bit with Tony Beasley. I locked up. I mean, I wasn't sure what I would have done. Those decisions are not so easy to make. It is easy to get all over a third base coach when a guy gets thrown out and nobody says much of anything when he scores pretty easily. Those are not easy reads and split-second decisions by those guys in some high-pressure situations.
And in fairness, it's a lot easier from up here, right? I mean, you can see it all coming together. Much more difficult down there. Take a look at Steve Buechele, first base coach this year. The 0-2 pitch, and
you're right. And so I feel like I have a pretty strong opinion because of the great view that we have in most situations. But I just kept watching him like, what's he going to do here? Like we have that great view of third base and the outfielder and everything else, and where the throw might be headed. There it is right there. It's like cheating from our view. I was really on the fence with that one.
Profar shoots it over first, and it just slices foul.
So many factors go into those decisions. You got to know your runner. You got to know your outfielder's arm. You got to know how well does a team do on their cutoffs and their relays. And as an example, any ball that goes to left field that you know that cutoff is going to Andrelton Simmons, you got to be a little bit extra careful because of the great arm that he has. You got to know the tendencies of the outfielders and what they have a tendency to do. Will they throw that ball into second base a little bit more? Will they be aggressive? Will they miss the cutoff man? All of that stuff is data that those coaches acquire.
2-2. Hey, you want to try and answer a question?
Of course.
Which of these two starting pitchers has thrown more pitches in today's game?
Well, based on how quickly things were going for Martin Perez after the double play, I will say Tyler Skaggs.
He's thrown one more.
And plus, you just had the tone of trick question. The tone said, here's a trick question. So I went with the opposite of what I thought everybody else would think.
Here's a 2-2. And this one popped foul over the right side out of play. Duly noted. I will try to disguise it a little better next time.
Here we go. Here's Ryan Rue. Another look at this base running clinic. 1-2 hop and go. Watch Tony Beasley. But look, here's what I love. Ryan Rue at 0 slowing down but waiting and giving his third base coach that opportunity. As soon as the guy pulls up, can't do anything about it. Then you take it out of the third base coach's hands. And there's nothing he can do.
2-2. That's low. Full count on Profar with Elvis Andrus looming on deck for the Rangers. So the situation's starting to look pretty good here for Texas.
Regardless of outcome, this has been a really good at-bat by Jurickson Profar. He also hit the ball pretty hard in his first at-bat at short hopper to Marte at first. He continues to give the Rangers quality at-bats in his limited playing time.
Ball 4. So Profar is on. Second walk drawn by the Rangers. And a very good 8-pitch at-bat by Profar. So now runners on the corners for Elvis Andrus. That's one of those where you could reach into a hat and pull out any number of fun statistics about Elvis Andrus. Maybe it's that he hits so great in this ballpark. 467 with a couple of homers. Maybe it's how he does with men on base.
Something in the gap with Profar at first. And 2 outs would be welcomed right here.
Big swing and a miss. Strike 1.
I think he was thinking of something else there.
Wasn't thinking about the gaps.
Big swing from Elvis on that curveball from Skaggs.
Andrus has great numbers against Tyler Skaggs. 438 career average against him with a home run. 7 hits and 16 at bats. Robinson at third, Profar at first. It's outside, 1-1. Andrus did walk in the first inning.
Well, this has become a concern now for Mike Sosa as the pitch count climbs here for Skaggs. Just a 1 run so far in an inning and 2/3, but you see that pitch count and you start to wonder how deep he can actually get in this game as the Rangers put these good at-bats together.
2-1. Mike Sosa has not gotten a lot of innings from his starters. Neither has Jeff Bannister. You see less than 5 innings per start for these two staffs. And it puts pressure on that pen in a big way. Neither feeling real sorry for the other. 2-1. Up and away.
Well, you and I talked about that in the postgame a little bit after yesterday's game. The Rangers bullpen, though, this year compared to last especially, is built to handle it. Is it ideal? No, of course not. You want your starters to be able to get a little bit deeper in games, but the Rangers certainly can absorb that with guys like Jesse Chavez down there. See Kevin Jepson down there. All the guys, multiple innings are something they can handle. And so while it hasn't been exactly the way they've wanted from the rotation, the bullpen has done a nice job handling that workload.
Well, Andrus should get something decent here. 3-1.
Wow.
And a bender misses. So they are loaded up now for Adrian Beltre. Back-to-back walks.
Not only back-to-back walks, This is a bad walk, in my opinion. I know Elvis Andrus is a great hitter. He's great against lefties. Adrian Beltre is even better against lefties on deck. And Tyler Skaggs goes to the curveball against Elvis Andrus in a 3-1 count. And it tells you right now that the confidence in the fastball just is not there, or at least against these really good right-handed hitters in the middle of the lineup. Earlier I had said that the curveball had been in the strike zone more than any other pitch for Skaggs. Well, that has significantly changed now with that walk. The curveball strike percentage has dropped to 58%. So he's having a difficult time finding the strike zone. That's a dead giveaway. You know, for a guy that predominantly only throws 2 pitches, it's fastball, curveball with the occasional changeup. Tentative to throw the curveball. Adrian Beltre is a pretty smart hitter, and you don't think he's just going to give in, but at the same time, he doesn't want to fall behind Adrian either. So this first pitch could be a fun one if Skaggs goes at Adrian.
That's 19 walks now that the Rangers have drawn in the last 4 games. And there's ball 1 to Adrian Beltre. 19 walks in 4 games, and we're only in the 2nd inning of this one. So that's one way where we have seen this Rangers offense adapt from last season, much more patient. Now, the flip side of that is last year's aggressive offense hit a lot of home runs. 1-0.
Oh,
close call. Not so sure Skaggs has earned that one yet.
At the top of the strike zone, and Fox Tracks will tell you that this is just out of the zone. Adrian Beltre turned in as if it was inside. I don't think that was the call you were going to get. The typical animation from the future Hall of Famer.
This ball hit hard out to right field. Young goes back, and he has room. And for the 2nd inning in a row, the Rangers leave the bases loaded, but they did break through. A run scored in the 2nd inning. Ryan Rua with a 1-out single and some great base running. It's a 4-1 game.
Park in Arlington. It's time for our progressive fan of the game, and Aaliyah Burke caught my eye pregame, guys. She had her pom-poms out. She was cheering as the guys were warming up, and I understand in exchange for this progressive fan of the game bag, she's going to give us a cheer. Right, Aaliyah? Can you give me a Rangers cheer?
Let's go, Rangers! Let's go!
Good job, Aaliyah. Way to go. Here's your progressive fan of the game bag. Don't stop cheering, okay?
Let's go, Rangers! Let's go!
All right.
Very good at following
literally.
instructions. I wish my 5-year-old was like this.
That's awesome.
Good team spirit. We love that around here at
Yep.
Globe Life Park. You know, it's funny how many kids that we see that Emily has the opportunity to talk with. Clam up a little bit. You put that microphone and that camera in front of a child, and things change a little bit, understandably so. Nope, not tonight. Full force on that cheer. Well done.
We'll have to check back in with her in the 8th inning.
Yeah.
Andrelton Simmons. And it's this ball hard out to left field. And that one will carry over the wall. Simmons with his first home run of the year. 5-1 Angels.
We're talking about Andrelton Simmons and the changes that he has made and the increase in his offense, and part of that has been big swings regardless of count for him. He swings the same if it's 0-0 or 0-2. 2 strikes there. He takes a big swing and gets himself his first home run of the year.
So now Jeffrey Marte, who had a RBI single in the first inning. Big swing and a miss. 1-1.
You know, that is the upside. As much as we talk about what's happening in the game and the changes, is that when you do get a pitch to handle and you don't shorten your swing with 2 strikes, you're not trying to hit that line drive up the middle, that's the result. Now sometimes the result can be a fly ball because you're a little bit out front, too big of a swing, those kinds of things, or weaker contact. But this is why we have seen such an increase in home runs, or at least a big part of the reason. So the guys, regardless of where they hit in the order, just don't get cheated with 2 strikes. They let it fly.
2-2 the count. The Aaron Sanchez no-hitter is done. Tim Beckham with a double in the 8th inning to break that one up. Fly ball out to right field by Marte. And that is out number 1. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with John Radigan.
Fielder Chris Young.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing, John, and a little hat tip to Hurdle and the Pirates during spring training. I heard an interview of Hurdle and people, questions asked about the expectations and after what they've been through in recent years, where they've been so close, but trading off guys like McCutchen and Cole gone. What's it going to feel like this year? And he's an unbelievable guy. He's young, takes one low.
A mentor to Jeff Bannister, I think, safe to say.
Absolutely. I mean, those guys are kindred spirits, and man, he struck the absolute right tone with his guys. They kept those wagons circled in camp and believe what they want to believe. Now the outsiders wanted to believe, and look at them off to the great start.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And certainly a guy like Clint Hurdle is not going to be brought down by any roster moves that are made, especially when you're in a small market. They're kind of used to it, right? You understand that you're never going to go out and probably make the big splash.
Young with a pop up. Gallo wants it. 2 gone.
And there's certainly something to be said for that, especially when it comes from the top. And it's important that that comes from the top and that message is there, because it is easy to get deflated. Listen, anytime you lose a good player from your clubhouse, it's not enjoyable as a player. There's no 2 ways about it. It's really difficult to stay positive when you lose your MVP candidate and your former MVP and your ace. It's really difficult to come into the season like, oh yeah, we're going to compete this year for sure. And they have good young players there, and some that are locked up to multi-year deals. They've done a nice job with that over the years, and they're making things very interesting here early on.
Some guys know what to say, right? You can tell people how to handle situations and whatnot. There's no question with Clint Hurdle. There's nothing fake about it. There's nothing scripted about it. He has an irrepressibly positive outlook on things. And, look, he's as competitive and feisty as anybody, but not in a way that channels negativity, man. I mean, he really is, you talk about the personality of a manager and how critical it can be sometimes. He seems to embody a lot of what you'd want. 0-2. Very good pitch, just missed.
I had a really interesting conversation with Clint Hurdle a couple of years ago, because you would look at him and first assumption, well, older school guy. I mean, he's an older guy, and he certainly came up in a different generation, and asked him about, you know, adapting to today's game. And he said it's essentially, if you don't, then you're not going to be able to manage in this game. Like, you better figure out what's going on now, understand the modern player, analytics, how those two things work together, how you sell players on that stuff, what the modern player needs now as compared to what he needed when he played from his manager, and how all that is adjusted. And for all those guys he says that sit out there from my generation or even younger than me that have bad things to say about changes in the game, well, they're just going to have to watch from the outside, because if you don't adapt, you can't be a part of it.
This ball roped over third and down the left field line by Maldonado. He'll cruise to second. That's a 2-out double for the Angels catcher.
Third baseman Luis Valbuena.
Just kind of wrap it up as well on Clint Hurdle. Funny guy. I mean, he's a big, loud personality, but he is funnier than heck. Great sense of humor. Very quick on his feet. Anyway, congrats to them. It's cool to see. Here's Valbuena, and he'll take ball one. Valbuena had a base hit in the second inning. 8 hits already for the Angels.
It's 18 hits now allowed for Martin Perez in his 2 starts. We were kind of surprised at the 10. It didn't feel like 10
right
in his start. We thought he threw the ball really well.
This one out into left field, drops in, base hit. Maldonado being waved all the way. He'll score easily. So Valbuena with another base hit. This one drives in a run. It makes it 6-1 Angels. 7 of the 9 hits off Perez have come with 2 outs.
Yeah, and that's the part that'll be frustrating for Martin when he goes back and he looks at this outing, knowing that he was just 1 out away from stopping these innings, especially the first, but now here with the 2 outs, and certainly the home run that he allowed in the second inning with 2 outs. And you see Maldonado coming around third. Big advantage with 2 outs is that ball was not hit that hard, giving him plenty of opportunity to score.
Top of the order now, and Cozart takes low. Jesse Chavez again. Was up in the first inning, up again here in the third. High pop up, foul ground first base side, and Gallo was there. Innings done. 2 more though for the Angels. They've got a big lead as we head to the last of the third inning.
Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the video awards for the next Rangers match game presented by
No hidden fee. That's transparency. And by GMC. Visit your local GMC dealer today. Well, bottom of the third inning. 6-1 Angels. It jumped out on this one quickly. Omar Mazar, Robinson Chirinos, Joey Gallo to bat here in the third against Tyler Skaggs. Skaggs has been playing with fire all night. Loaded the bases in the first inning, but struck out Chirinos to get out of it. Loaded the bases again last inning, allowed 1 run. But retired Beltre to escape the jam.
And Nomar put that really good at bat together against Skaggs, and so even though he's got this lead, he knows the Rangers can make life very difficult for him. They already have. See the pitch count at 67 through 2+, and he threw Nomar a pretty good breaking ball. It was the ground ball or hard hit ball that ended up going off of Skaggs for an infield base hit.
No balls, 2 strikes on Mazara. Skaggs ready to go. A swing and a miss. Mazara chased a high fastball.
The catcher, Robinson Chirinos.
It's time for our Kubota power stats, and we're going to talk about the fastball of Tyler Skaggs. This has been part of the conversation really over the last couple of years, but check this out. His average against fastballs this season, just an even 100. A couple of good names in there on the list with Skaggs. We talked about the fastball yesterday for Garrett Richards and the high spin rate that he has on that fastball. Well, Skaggs has done a really nice job as far as that batting average against so far with that pitch. I think for him, the velocity is good. It's not overpowering necessarily, but he's a big guy, 6'4", and he really does use his height to his advantage. Not all guys pitch to their height, but he's got some really good downward action. Makes it a little bit more difficult to square it up. Whenever you get guys, and it really doesn't matter your height, but whenever you get those pitchers that work downhill and a good downward plane, as if you're to watch it from the side, almost as that ball sloping down, very difficult fastball to square up.
Back-to-back strikeouts as he gets Chirinos. 2 away. Well, tomorrow our first Texas Chili Company dollar hot dog night of the season. Final game of this series with the Angels, and you can enjoy all the hot dogs you can eat for just $1 each. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Joey Gallo takes a good fastball for a strike. For 1. Skaggs, a Tommy John survivor. There are a lot of those in the game, but he had Tommy John in the late summer 2014. And has worked his way back. Former first-round pick back in 2009. Swinging a high fly ball out to left field. Upton with a lot of room out there. And the inning is over. A 10-pitch third inning for Tyler Skaggs. We go to the 4th.
Well, this is what we don't want to see again. Back in the second inning, Mike Trout got himself a changeup that was down, cut back over the plate a little bit, and Mike Trout, just that great low ball hitter, hit that ball at projected 441 feet.
Moves away from a high fastball.
That's the spot right there. We talk about up in the zone for Mike Trout, and you're going to take your chances in the zone. That's the spot you want to do it.
0-2. Look at the list of the youngest players to 200 home runs. Trout last September at 26 years old, a little better than 26 years old. The fastest ever, his teammate Albert Pujols, who did it just short of 26 years since 2000. 0-2 the count.
See if Martin tries to elevate again with the fastball, or even go back in on Trout, or if he goes off speed out of the zone.
2-2.
It goes breaking ball. Good pitch there. Mike Trout, so disciplined though, so difficult to get him to go out of the zone, and he puts you in this spot after getting ahead 0-2 where you want to go in the zone. You certainly don't want to go 3-2, and so likely we'll see that high fastball.
Sure got that quite as high as you would have wanted.
Well, you know what, I was watching Robinson Chirinos there, and he actually didn't go up. He just wanted to make sure it was in. And you know, I get it, obviously you don't want to show the same great hitter the same location. We see where his glove is, and it was up a little bit, but Robinson just, I think more importantly, wanted to make sure that that ball was in. You see him give the fastball in sign again.
Get that one in. Full count.
You bring that over about 6 inches, and that's position A, I think, against Mike Trout. Again, very difficult to go to the same spot over and over again to a great hitter, but if you have to take your chances with a fastball in the zone, that's where you want to be.
Perez battling tonight, and his 3-2 fouled away. Martin, this will be his 85th pitch of the night. He has recorded 9 outs so far. Part of it, guys putting good at bats on him. Trout here, this will be the 8th pitch he's seen in this at bat. 3-2. And Perez loses him, so a leadoff walk in the 4th. Time now for a word from our friends at Southwest Kia.
We're so confident in our new car pricing that if I can't beat a new car Kia deal in Texas, I'm just going to give it to you.
Third walk of the game for Perez. Justin Upton, the hitter, a guy who has walked twice already.
Well, certainly a guy that you want to be very careful with as a left-handed pitcher, and here's why. Check out these numbers going back to the start of last season. Justin Upton has done unbelievable damage against left-handed pitchers, a .341 batting average, but the OPS is what really sticks out. 1,135 compared to the righties, which is still an above league average OPS, but he has feasted on left-handed pitching, and that's why Martin Perez has been so careful.
Doug Brocale had gone out to the mound to gather up Martin Perez, and Robinson Chirinos have a little chat. Rangers with 4 mound visits remaining. Trout at first, and 1-0 the count to Upton. Ball 2. You know, you were showing those numbers for Upton since last year, and I mentioned earlier it was a real bounce back year for him against lefties last year. His slugging percentage last year was .728 against left-handed pitching, which was an improvement of 94 points from the year before. Fouled away. I'm sorry, that was 94 points better than anybody else in the league against lefties. The year before he had slugged .441, so what is that? That's almost 300-point improvement in his slugging against lefties.
And he's carried that over to this year. He has scored a run already. The 2-1. And that's ball 3.
And we talk about this all the time. Martin gets in these situations. He's very good at getting the ground ball, getting the double play. Upton a little bit tougher in these spots. A 37% ground ball rate, so that's 7% lower in his favor than normal. He grounded into just 10 double plays going back to the beginning of last year.
Ball 4. He's walked 3 times tonight. Back-to-back free passes will in the effort tonight for Martin Perez. Jeff Bannister's seen enough. Signals to the bullpen. Perez is done after 3+ tonight. It's a 6-1 game. New pitcher coming on. And Mariners and the first 15,000 fans 14 and older will get a Rangers pullover courtesy of Globe Life. You won't want to miss out on this fashionable giveaway item or the ball game. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS.
There are the numbers for Jesse Chavez. Game number 4 for him. 7 strikeouts for him so far in his 7 innings of work. He has had 3 days of rest. He last pitched the first game against the Toronto Blue Jays to kick off this homestand. He threw 2 2/3 through 62 pitches. However, he was up in the first and the 3rd inning, and now he gets into the game here in the 4th.
Pujols going right after him.
Right, as much as you and I were talking about that yesterday regarding the phone ringing down in the bullpen and the adrenaline getting up, well, it's the 3rd time Jesse Chavez has dealt with that in today's game. First inning, always a little bit of a surprise. And then the 3rd, and then the phone rang one more time in the 4th.
Oh, missed by much there. 1-1. Chavez, a former Angel, he was a teammate of Pujols last season.
And you see the reaction here because that pitch certainly did appear to catch the corner of the strike zone. And when you're facing Albert Pujols, or really any good big league hitter for that matter, it's an absolute grind. It's a mental grind for a pitcher, and when you execute something and then you don't get the call, it's really frustrating. And instead of being 1-2, Jesse Chavez is now 2-1 against Pujols.
Inherits 2 base runners. A couple of walks spelled the end of the night for Martin Perez. Chavez spent the full year last year with the Angels, and a big swing and a miss evens the count at 2-2. 21 starts. Also pitched in relief 17 times. He's had a handful of seasons with 20+. He started 21 games in Oakland in 2014. The next year started 26 games for the A's. He's also pitched a lot in relief in his career. Full count on Pujols.
We also will talk about, you know, the challenge of facing your former teammates, guys that you spent time with that certainly know your game. Well, for Jesse, he's been through it a few times. 8 different teams now at the big league level. You get used to it a little bit more, but not that it makes it any easier when you're facing a hitter as good as Albert Pujols.
Three-two. A high pop-up back behind home plate, headed our way. Section just below us. That hit the concrete pretty hard.
And the difference there between the Angels booth next to us and our booth, Mark Gubazad, the analyst for the Angels, was on his feet looking to protect his partner. And I didn't move an inch.
No, you did not. Ground ball up the middle. Pujols drives in a run. 7-1 Anaheim.
Well, not only is Albert Pujols a great hitter, he is a great RBI man. So good in these spots. Looked like a little bit of a cutter there, possibly from Jesse Chavez, and Tail caught the back part of the mound too and just skipped right through the infield, not giving Elvis Andrus any chance at all to try to make a play on that ball.
That run goes to Martin Perez. Upton, the runner out at second base, also the responsibility of Perez. Here's Andrelton Simmons. And he takes a strike. Simmons homered his last time up. Infield hit the first time up. And having a very big offensive start to the season. Ground ball, shortstop. Andrus will go to second for one. Profar able to turn it over to first for the double play. 6-4-3. Chavez picks up 2 outs on 1 pitch.
It's a good job for a guy that's been having a good night in Andrelton Simmons, and Jesse was able to get him a little bit out front, and this is about as easy as it gets for the Rangers, who do such an excellent job of turning the double play. And Profar looking very smooth on that easy turn, and a good throw to Joey Gallo.
So nicely done. Here is Jeffrey Marte, 1 for 2. Now, talking about Chavez and his travels, 8 different major league teams. He was drafted by the Cubs in 2001, but instead decided to go to college. Went to Riverside Community College and pitched there. Then ultimately the team that drafted him and signed him was the Texas Rangers. A 42nd round pick in 2002. Burst onto the big league scene with the Pirates, though, many years later, 2008. This ball hit hard into left field. Base hit. Drops in front of Rua. Boy, that one was stung. Upton touches the plate. Marte's second hit of the night. He's driven in 2 runs now. 8-1 Angels.
The Angels offense locked in right now. We had already talked about where they stood as far as their league lead in so many categories. We'll continue to swing some hot bats here as Marte lines that ball into left. Closing the book on Martin Perez. All 8 of those runs will be charged to Martin.
A tough night for Perez. Young with a big swing and a miss.
I like about that Jesse Chavez story that you were telling. 42nd round, 2002, a round that no longer exists.
Yeah.
It's always interesting when you see guys get to the big league level. Not to say that they wouldn't have been signed. You could certainly sign guys after the draft, but I just think it's interesting that Major League Baseball has cut the amateur draft down to 40 rounds, and a guy like Jesse, who originally was taken in the 39th round and then again in the 42nd round out of Riverside Community College, doesn't happen anymore.
They're pretty crazy. You just don't see those. We see fewer and fewer of them anyway, the guys who make the big leagues from those late rounds. Martin Maldonado now, and he takes one down in the dirt for a ball. We're in the top of the 4th inning, 8-1. Angels leading. They jumped out yesterday to a 3-0 lead. Eventually got ahead 5-1. Rangers would come back and make it interesting in the late innings. This one shot out to right field. That's a base hit. Marte around third. He'll score. They stop Young at third base. RBI single for Maldonado. 9-1 Angels.
Take a look at this pitch here from Chavez. Fastball away, came back. It was pretty well located on the outer half, but Maldonado having a good night with his second hit. He had the double back in the third, and another run across for the Angels.
Luis Valbuena, 2 for 2. He's up there hacking, pops this one up. Gallo's had this play a handful of times tonight. Takes care of it again. And the Angels leave a pair, but they add 3 more, and they have a big lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th.
Ohtani Park is home to the best fireworks shows in Texas, and King Mobile presents.
A curveball that hung up and did a nice job of hitting it into the right field corner. 86 miles an hour. The ball traveled 270 feet, but it's the sprint speed from Ryan Rua, nearly 29 feet per second, and his first to home time, 10.9 seconds. And we dug into that a little bit. Nice job by Ryan Rua, and he'll lead off the bottom of the 4th inning here for the Rangers.
Well, if you had your track spikes on, you think you'd go first to home in 10.94?
Negative.
Good wind at your back?
Downhill?
Nope.
None of it. Nope.
Skaggs has managed to survive himself here today. He was really struggling early, but had a perfect 1-2-3 last inning. Still might not be real long for this game, as He's already thrown 77 pitches, but gets ahead 0-2 here on Rule.
So the fight is real, right? We talked about how Skaggs has only gotten 1 run of support through his first 2 starts. Well, now he's got 9, and the question becomes, can he get through 5 innings to try to get a win? Garrett Richards yesterday, 4 1/3. Win went to the bullpen. He left with the lead, but didn't pitch deep enough in the game to qualify. And for Skaggs, listen, wins still matter to pitchers. I don't care what anybody says. Sure, that stat has been devalued a little bit to some degree, and understandably so. But it still matters. Still matters to pitchers. They still want to get those wins. It's nice to see that number next to your name. And right now for Skaggs, it is trying to find a way to be efficient and put himself in a position to potentially have this win if the Rangers don't come back.
Interesting, as ugly as those first 2 innings were, and they were not pretty for him. Used 10 pitches last inning. It's a ground out here quickly. And to your point, has a chance if he can continue that trend of maybe getting through the 5 innings. But he doesn't have a lot of room for error at this point. 2-0. Robinson had the RBI double. Rangers 1 run on 4 hits. But they left the bases loaded in the first and did it again in the 2nd inning. Skaggs to the plate, 3-0. Gets the automatic strike call there. That's ball 4. So gives another free base runner to the Rangers. 4th walk he's issued tonight. And once again, the top of the order coming. You can't help but think about what could possibly be.
8 total walks now in this game, 4 from Skaggs, and Martin Perez had 4 himself. We're not even through 4 innings here at Globe Life tonight.
Chu is grounded out and flied out. 0 for 2. Good numbers for Chu overall, including the 3 home runs. Those came in 3 consecutive games. Oh, 2. Now I could be imagining things, but it feels like this Rangers team that the biggest difference for me year over year is last year, even when things weren't going well, they were still hitting a lot of home runs. You kind of brace yourself to see how far Gallo might hit it that night, or Odor if he could blast one. Mazzara. The early goings here, and maybe part of it is that so many of the home runs to this point have been solo home runs for the Rangers.
Coming into tonight, tied for 15th, kind of sitting right in the middle of the league with their 10 home runs. Okay, doing very well offensively, Elvis Andrus, and I think individually, yes, some guys are swinging good bats, but it seemed like there's been some issues kind of stringing it together when needed, and we've seen a lot of missed opportunities with runners on base.
Timing just so critical. 8 of the 10 home runs have been solo home runs, and yet we've had in the last 2 nights, I think, at least 4 bases loaded spots that have gone by the board.
That night in Oakland, Rangers went 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position. Some hard hit balls, just some bad luck, and like you said, the timing just has not been there.
Chu held up, full count here. 1 out, 1 man on.
I got to think a walk here will Get that bullpen stirring down in left field for the Angels.
Skaggs last won a game in this ballpark in July of 2014.
He's not going 5 innings. He's got 90
No, I
pitches
don't think
already.
so. I don't think so. Leading 9-1, and it's likely to elude him tonight. 3-2 pitch, and that ball lifted high in the air toward the line. Upton can't quite get to it and very nearly hurt himself. Wow, that's tough going right up against that wall.
Really
slow
tough.
down.
Well, because you have also different heights of the wall. You see the brick on the left and then the bar on the right. You don't know exactly where you're going to make contact. He takes a quick peek to try to get a feel. It looked like that ball hit his glove and bounced in, but that is an extremely difficult play. Right on the edge. Trying to brace yourself and you're just not exactly sure. And you see it hit the glove right there, whether you're going to hit that lower part or the higher part. See if the Rangers can take advantage.
Ooh, strike 3 called on the pitch up out of the zone, and Chu doesn't say much, but not happy with Todd Tichenor. Wow.
And Chu had a lot to say about that one, and understandably so. And it almost seemed like there was an assumption from Tichenor that this ball was going to come down a little bit more than it actually did. And, you know, whenever you see a hitter get away with as much as Chu just did right there, also makes you think a little bit maybe the umpire knows he missed this one. Look how high this ball is, and it just never comes down. Fox Tracks has it significantly above the zone. You'll watch it here. Look at Maldonado. Look how much movement is there after the fact. That much movement tells you everything you need to know about where that pitch actually crossed the plate. And now Jurickson Profar, seems like he might be getting an earful from Tichenor for some reason.
This will be the 200th pitch of this game.
Is that a lot?
Seems like a lot in the 4th inning. Profar skies this one to center field. Trout, good closing speed, plenty of time to get there, and the inning is done. The Rangers leave another man. We'll go to the 5th inning. Kind of a contentious night. It's an 8-run lead for the Angels.
As we welcome you back to Globe Life Park in Arlington and talking to Jeff Bannister last night and today about his team's woes as far as runners in scoring position goes. He doesn't like to use the word frustrated, and so he avoided that word, but said he feels like if his guys continue to put themselves in those positions that eventually they're going to be able to cash in. That being said, after last night's game, you hoped it would happen here tonight, and it just hasn't. You've got to think at some point in time things are going to start to go this team's way. He said if you can get them on, there's no reason why you can't get them over.
Yeah, there was a reporter, I think, who used the word frustrated last night, right, Emily?
Well, I used it, but I said we weren't going to use it.
Fly ball out to left field, and
I know my role, guys.
yeah, no, you play that very well. one away here in the 5th inning. Now, Banny, that might be the one forbidden word in his vocabulary. He won't use it.
Well, it's interesting because I think what you say matters so much now more than ever when it's coming from the top. And as a manager, part of your job is keeping that pressure off your team, keeping them loose when they're struggling a little bit. And you don't want to offer excuses for them either, or allow them to go down a path of how they might feel in certain situations. And you were talking about Clint Hurdle and keeping it positive regardless. And Jeff Bannister, certainly a disciple of Clint Hurdle in that regard. And they'll do everything they can. They choose their words very carefully. And it's a big change, I think. We're kind of past, or I don't know if we might be completely, or pretty close to completely out of the woods with managers that sometimes use the media to vent. Right? Terry Collins, I think, was one of the last ones with the Mets. He was pretty good at it.
It's a real shame. I mean, it's a real shame because it can make for a lot of fun.
It offers some entertainment value without a doubt, but I think because the focus on the relationship with players and the manager and what it means now more than ever, that when Brian Cashman comes in and says that I need a new manager because I need a guy who can handle my young players really well and have a good relationship with them, that sounds new, and that's how front offices are thinking now. And so that's why those words that come out of the manager's mouth matter now more than ever. I mean, the days of Lasorda.
Oh my goodness.
You know, and you're right. It is unfortunate because it's good entertainment for us, and those things live on forever. But I think that we'll see less and less of that, at least about their own team. I'm sure about umpires or maybe other players we'll still see it, opponents. As far as getting frustrated about some struggles that your own team might be going through, I think managers are a little bit more careful these days to keep it internal and to not offer any excuses or any public criticism of their team.
I'll tell you, I mean, and you're absolutely right, but it's gotten to the point where you don't see the great blow-ups even about the other team or the umpires, or you know, where's a good Lee Elia meltdown, or, you know, I mean, some of the classics of all time.
It was interesting when Ron Gardenhire got kicked out of the game with the Tigers a couple of games ago. I guess it was the Tigers home opener. It looked like they walked it off. Home plate umpire calls the runner safe. It goes to review.
High fly ball for Trout. 2 away.
And play gets overturned. And Gardenhire comes out and still argues with the home plate umpire. And he's the one who called him safe. But you can't argue after it goes to replay. Like, if you have a beef, you got to get on the phone and call Chelsea Market in the old Nabisco factory where those guys are sitting. That's where they are, right?
No,
For people that don't know, the replay center is located above Chelsea Market, which is a fun little tourist spot if you're ever in New York City. And that building used to be the old Nabisco factory where they used to make the old, well, Oreo cookies. One of the greatest foods that have ever hit our planet.
Yeah.
That's where you got to call. Got to call them. Don't get mad at the umpire here. He called your runner safe in that spot.
1 strike pitch. And this one lined into center field. Upton finally got a pitch to hit tonight. And he deposits a single into center field. Yeah, now you'd stop by Chelsea Thai, the cashew chicken, maybe swing by and get some of that lobster.
I love that lobster place. You and I both worked in that building for a while, and it's a lot of fun. Great swing by Upton right there. Base hit right back up the middle. The mini donuts.
Oh,
there, make them right in front of you. They're not terrible.
and the replay center.
Oh yeah,
right up there.
MLB.com. MLB Advanced Media, all there. But that's where you have to direct your anger in those spots. It is awkward to see the manager come out and get angry at an umpire who made the call that you're asking for. And it is an automatic ejection.
Pujols with a couple of hits. Chavez puts a strike in there to make it 1-1. Upton at first base after the base hit. He's walked 3 times and singled. Everybody in the Angels lineup, with the exception of the leadoff man, Zach Cozart, has at least 1 hit. 1-2 on Pujols. Talking to managers in today's game too, it's one of the aspects that they miss, that arguing with an umpire, even though it's really not going to affect the call. We now have replay, so we just get an answer one way or the other. There's a strike 3 called on Albert Pujols. He's not convinced, but the inning is done. A man left. We're halfway there tonight. Rangers will be sending Andrus, Adrian Beltre, and Omar Mazar in the bottom of the 5th. If you're an all-star, Rangers fans, April 21st, time to get your game on and go play. This is, I can't believe this. Smash Mouth will be performing a post-game concert Saturday, April 21st, presented by Budweiser. Enjoy the Rangers, Mariners, stay for the concert, and all the cliches. Watch the Seattle Mariners take on your Texas Rangers, 7:05, and then enjoy the concert after the game.
So I actually thought you were ad-libbing there, and that's why I was so impressed that you were actually just reading it.
No.
Oh, I was really impressed. I was like, wow, look at Dave Raymond with the cultural references.
Cultural, it's like 10, 15 years old.
I know it. Well,
Andrus.
just when I was about to be proud of you, things take a turn back to where we normally live.
I'd like to think I can prevent you from that. Skaggs out here in the 5th inning. Push that pitch count a little bit to try and get him through 5. Ball and 2 strikes on Elvis Andrus.
Well, he did throw 103 pitches in his last start, and he only went 4 2/3, which obviously put him in a very similar situation that he is in now. He's on about that same pace.
Bueno on the high hop at 3rd, and that one gets away. Andrus is safe. Wow, that one seemed to arrive with Andrus right at the glove at the same time. Looked like a routine play for Valbuena at first.
It certainly did. He got a nice high hop to handle. You see him play it back and loads up and makes that throw, and it sails on him just a little bit, and it looked like, did it go glove to helmet? Let's watch this one more time and get a look to see whether or not this ball actually hit Elvis. Here's the throw. It's going to go in the glove, and nope, did not hit Elvis, thankfully.
E5. So Andrus on. Here is Adrian Beltre. And there's that big curveball in there for a strike. Yeah, this is an interesting spot for Scioscia. Trying his darndest to get his starter through 5 innings. And I got to think, CJ, that goes a long way with his pitchers.
Sure. To give him that opportunity, I think in this day and age, a little bit more common that you would not allow Skaggs to go back out there. And listen, I know Martin Perez didn't have the greatest of nights, but even Jeff Bannister giving him an opportunity to go back out in the 4th inning. I thought there was a chance we would not see Martin back out there, but Manny gave him a chance.
Oh, boy, that one got into that Angels dugout in a hurry. Beltre with that look on his face, concerned that everybody was okay. They apparently are.
Cole Calhoun, Rene Rivera down there.
Now they can all recount the.
And really, let's be honest, for Angels fans watching that, they're wondering, is Ohtani okay? That's what they're most worried about in that situation, as he is in that group. And quite possibly front office feeling the same way.
That's her third base again, but foul. So we'll try it one more time. There's Ohtani. We have missed him these first 2 games. Fun game today. Trying to figure out, well, what is his routine? Does he go out with the pitchers? Does he stretch with the hitters?
Yes. I got to believe it, right? Any day he's not in the lineup, hang with the pitchers, do your pitcher's routine.
Swing and a miss. Beltre strikes out. Was that caught cleanly? It was foul tipped. Beltre asking, what, did you get that cleanly? He did. It's a strikeout, 1 away.
Yeah, it sounded. I wasn't sure if it hit the dirt or if it was foul tip. Let's watch what happens here with this breaking ball from Skaggs, and you're going to see Adrian swing over the top of it. And I guess it was just Maldonado. I wasn't sure if he got hit with the backswing as well. I don't think he did.
No, he got
a little
hit
tap
on the
here.
recoil, right?
Yeah, but not much. A little tap. Just kind of rolled over. I don't think the contact with the bat necessarily caused Maldonado to roll over. He just was working really hard to make sure he got to that ball.
Almazara. Omar 1 for 2. 9-1. Angels leading as we play here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Angels have 10 hits tonight, where the exit velocity are all in excess of 100 miles per hour in this game. 1-1 on Mazzara. Rangers have 4 hits total. They've left 7 men on base. Andrus reached on the error. Beltre struck out. Not much of a lead over at first for Elvis, down by 8 runs. One and 2. Lefty on lefty here for Skaggs. And he gets Mazzara swinging, so 2 strikeouts. There's 1 out away from getting through his 5 innings. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's welcome in John Radigan. All right, thanks, John. Torino's foul just thrown away. So the Yankees will go to 5-6. A losing record. They'll be 4.5 games back of a Red Sox team that has jumped out to a 9-1 start. So in New York, I know it didn't take a whole lot to get people riled up. How much concern / panic will there be?
There'll be a little bit. You know, obviously you knew that Stanton and Judge were going to have a lot of swing and miss in their game. We've seen what I think a couple of 5 strikeout games for Stanton. That was not well received in New York. And so, sure, there's a little bit of concern there. The starting pitching was a legitimate question mark. Not that it was going to be bad, but could it be good enough? Severino was certainly expected to have a good year. He's had a rough start, or at least a rough start tonight. We went 5 innings and allowed 11 base runners. 5 of those runs were his tonight. The bullpen is really good, though, and it's still a really good team. I think the mistake a lot of people made was just jumping to the conclusion that the Yankees were going to walk away with the American League East and kind of forgetting that, first of all, the Red Sox won that division last year. They won 93 games. They did it with a bad Rick Porcello, a half a year of David Price.
Chirinos lines this one out to left field. That's a base hit. 2 hits yesterday, a base hit tonight for Chirinos. 2 men aboard here in the 5th inning.
And then don't forget that they added JD Martinez. They are better on paper this year than they were a year ago, and they won 93 games. And so I think some people were discounting the Boston Red Sox, and Alex Cora's got his club off to a really nice start his first year managing in the big leagues.
Now Gallo twice has tried to go the other way with it, and twice is flied out to fairly deep left field. Skaggs hits him way out in front of that big curveball. Gallo with 3 home runs so far in the early goings this season. No time called by Maldonado. Not as dramatic a shift as we've become accustomed to seeing against Gallo.
It's interesting to see Simmons where he is and maybe not pulled a little bit further over. Of course, he's got to keep the runner close, but at the same time, it's 9-1. It was only the 5th inning. And that happens in these situations in which you have a runner at second base. Somebody's got to be able to keep that runner close when you have the lefty pull.
Let me ask you, if Skaggs doesn't get Gallo here, is he done?
112 pitches is a ton by today's standards. Mike Sosa probably has to go get him.
High fly, left side, and heading foul. That one 4 rows into the seats for strike 2. I had the catch probability on that one about 85%.
Really?
Does that matter?
It's really, really important.
Okay.
I mean, for the fan, you meant, right? Like 85% of the time.
Oh, no. I mean, I think
for Upton,
yeah.
or for possibly the third baseman, it could have been.
I mean, you got to make that play.
Somebody's got to make it. That's what Skaggs is thinking right now. He's trying to hang in there and be eligible for a W.
1-2. And he got Gallo swinging, and it ends the inning. And Skaggs manages to get through 5 innings for the Angels. He'll leave with a 9-1 lead.
Ford game summary. Here it comes, and we'll show you that Andrelton Simmons home run, first of the season for the Angels shortstop. Solo shot back in the 3rd inning. He also had a base hit back in the 1st, and the Angels scoring in each of the first 4 in this game. And Andrelton Simmons now leading things off against Jesse Chavez.
Chavez, who came on in the 4th inning, inherited a couple of base runners with nobody out. Making his 3rd inning tonight. He got Simmons to hit into the double play in the 4th. He was ahead here 0-2. Trying to take him a little further off the plate that time. Chavez trying to work with a little bit of tempo here in the 6th inning. Launches that one to the plate. First year as a Ranger, he's to the big leagues, and Chavez gets a ground ball shortstop. Andrews is there, plenty of time to throw out Simmons, 1 away.
We'll make the assumption that Tyler Skaggs is done for the evening. And you see the 5 innings of work, 1 run, 9 base runners, though, to go along with the 7 strikeouts, 114 pitches. You looked it up and said that was a career high for him. Also, the highest that we have seen in the big leagues from any pitcher. Carlos Martinez threw 114 pitches back on April 4th for the St. Louis Cardinals against the Brewers, and Blake Snell of the Tampa Bay Rays threw 114 pitches against the Chicago White Sox. Now, the difference, Martinez went 8 innings with those 114 pitches. Snell 6, Skaggs 5.
Down low, 2-0 the count. Most pitches you ever threw in a game?
So I'm pretty sure I know. I want to confirm. I'm going to look at it real quick. It's not pretty. I know it's over 130.
Ooh. 4 innings?
Back when there's a good chance, actually. You're laughing.
Just kidding.
I'm telling you, there's a really good chance that's possible.
Bouncer toward 3rd. Beltre waits on it, has to hustle it. Ooh, not in time. Marte just beat it out. And not a whole lot you could do there. Beltre's got as strong as arm as anybody. Marte smelled a hit and legged that one out.
Take a look here as Adrian Beltre comes in on this ball, but like you said, just has to wait. Fires across the diamond, and Joey Gallo does a good job on the stretch. I think on both ends between Adrian Beltre and Joey Gallo, both men doing everything they possibly could, and just nothing that they could do about it when all said and done. Oh, okay. Two games. One that was 132, one that was 130. Shockingly, 7 innings in both of those.
Oh, see,
I thought it was going to be way less than that. It's one of my favorite lines though of my career. 7 innings, 6 hits, 6 walks, 2 strikeouts, 1 run.
You got to work around some trouble.
That is some magic. That's 12 base runners, buddy. 1 run.
The dribbler first base line, and Gallo puts the tag on Young, 2 away. Let's check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, Adrian talked about the errant throws to first over the last couple of days and admits that he's still getting used to throwing to such a large target in Joey Gallo, that it's a little bit different as far as the way he delivers the ball. And he said his arm feels great. Doesn't feel like there's anything wrong there. It's just a matter of an adjustment on his part.
Yeah, interesting. I think a lot of times guys would tell you that it maybe would have them relax a little bit, but it certainly is a different look with big Joey Gallo over there, and it'll give you the confidence, I think, to let it fly, knowing that he's going to have a little bit more range, not just north to south, but also east to west. As he's flexible over there. He's done a great job stretching for throws. He's done a nice job picking throws in the dirt. He's worked hard to become a very good first baseman. I think a lot of it came to him naturally at first, but he continues to put the time in. He's not just a guy that's going to go over there and say, okay, I'll be a big slugger over here and just try not to mess anything up. It's the opposite. He is working hard to become a Gold Glove caliber first baseman.
A lot of talk today before the ball game about the continuing development of so many young players for the Rangers, and each of the past handful of days has been a different, almost clinic style session out on the field. The early work, maybe a bunting session, a live BP session, pitchers fielding practice. They continue to put in a little bit of extra work, especially for the younger players. Dick Bannister adamant about the need to continue their professional development at this level. So many of them so young, not getting some of the reps maybe that you would in the minor leagues. So they're trying to get creative and find ways to do it here. One guy in particular, that guy right there, Carlos Tocci, especially as a hitter. I think defensively feel they can put Tocci anywhere and he's going to be great in the outfield. But for him, not getting as many live looks in a big league game, it gets difficult and challenging because you want him to continue to develop. Chavez with a 1-2 pitch, and there's a swing and a foul tip. Maldonado stays alive. So Isaiah Kiner-Falefa recalled today as a part of a handful of moves made by the Rangers. He'll be up here, infielder and catcher. So a guy who can be very flexible once he joins his team, and everybody right now has been very flexible. Former fourth round pick. He'll be the 5th Hawaiian-born Ranger. Ground ball up the middle. That's a base hit from Maldonado. Marte around third base. I'll wave him to the plate. And the Angels in double digits.
Third hit of the night for Maldonado. First RBI. He's had a good night behind the plate. He's had a good night hitting as well.
You see Bartolo Colon, who's been working out there trying to get ready. I think ideally Jeff Bannister would get one more out of Jesse Chavez here.
Yeah, we've been trying to guess a little bit and wondering what will happen with Doug Fister going on the DL and would Bartolo Colon slide into the rotation. Fister scheduled to throw, this would be Sunday, right? That's at the Astros, that game that's scheduled to be on ESPN that night. So it's only Tuesday. That would be 4 full days in between. If Bartolo were to throw in relief in this one, he certainly could come back in 4 days. It's essentially like making a start as far as pitch count goes.
The 1-1. Chavez buries that one. So Jesse Chavez, several pitches clear of 50 for the day. So Bandy getting some mileage out of him. Here comes the 2-1, and there's a swing and a miss. A run in this inning on the Maldonado base hit. Angels have scored in every inning but the 5th. And there's a swing and a miss, strike 3. So Valbuena strikes out to in the 6th inning. And the bottom of the 6th is next. Rangers game. Groups of 20 or more enjoy significant savings off gate prices, and you can add on picnic areas, meal deals, or other experiences to make the group outing even more memorable. Check it out, texasrangers.com/groups. Luke Bard takes over here for Tyler Skaggs.
Game number 5 for the right-hander. See good ERA so far. The walks, though, a little bit high for his 6 1/3. 5 free passes.
It'll be Rua, Robinson, and then back to the top of the order for Shin-Soo Choo. We're in the bottom of the 6th. One and one on Ryan Rua. Rua with a base hit tonight. Has 3 hits in his last 20 at-bats.
It's a slider from Bard, a pitch he uses a lot, 39% of the time so far this year. He's got a fastball too. It sits around 93 miles an hour, and he'll occasionally throw a changeup. It's been 9% usage so far this year with that pitch.
2-2 the count. Rua still looking for his first multi-hit game of the year. A chance tonight. This ball hit hard out to center field, but to the wrong man. Trout able to come in and get it. One away.
Center fielder, Drew Robinson.
And here comes Drew Robinson. So we opened the season here at home with 4 against the Astros, defending world champs, and they looked pretty good. We've since seen a little bit of the Oakland A's, Toronto Blue Jays, and now the Angels. The Angels have played very well to start the year. And this next road trip takes us right back to Houston. It'll be interesting playing them back to back, because right now look to be the 2 top teams in the division. I'm a little surprised at how much the Angels seem to have improved.
Yeah, the Angels look good so far. They've gotten off to a good start, locking up that man right there for 5 more years this offseason. That guy right there falling in your lap. And then, of course, Mike Sosa has been doing it for now his 19th season at the helm. I don't think we're ever going to see that again, as far as having a manager in one spot for that long. He signed, what, a 10-year contract? I think it expires here pretty soon.
I believe,
actually.
yeah, I believe.
Is it this year?
It might be this year.
But they have. They certainly have improved. Still wonder if there's an improvement to be made out in their bullpen. I was kind of surprised they weren't in on the Greg Holland sweepstakes a little bit.
Robinson strikes out swinging.
Which, by the way, I don't know if you saw that. It's an interesting part of the game now when we have so many free agents, way too many in my opinion, signing so late in the offseason. And Greg Holland was right around opening day that he signed with the St. Louis Cardinals, made his debut last night, walked 4 hitters, only pitched a 1/3 of an inning, and it was a tie game. And he ended up taking a loss. One of those walks was intentional, but he walked a batter on 4 pitches with the bases loaded. And point being is that he probably wasn't ready. And he skipped spring training, and not his fault that he skipped spring training, he just wasn't signed. It's really important. I think a lot of players, think spring training could probably get cut in half, or they don't need nearly as much time as they do, but it does serve a pretty big purpose, and I think that showed up a little bit with Greg Holland last night and the Cardinals. I thought the Angels would have been a team that would have been interested in him, kind of locking down that closer spot. As you mentioned, they are certainly improved. It's a good team. The Zach Cozart signing was a good one, a sneaky one to trade for Ian Kinsler. They already have the best player in the game in Mike Trout, and I went out and landed the best player in the world in Shohei Ohtani. Certainly the best 2-way threat in our game today.
Yeah. Yeah,
and the only one.
The other question you would have to have about the Angels, and certainly if you were going to stack the 2 teams up against one another, the Astros on one hand and the Angels on the other, you would look at the starting pitching as being just a an enormous difference between the two.
You're right.
Bouncer right side of the infield. Marte will feed Bard, and that will complete a 1-2-3 bottom of the 6th inning. So we'll go to the 7th in a 9-run game. Well, you can see the score. This one favoring the Angels in a fairly dramatic way. And a nice warm reception for Bartolo Colon, who was just announced as the new Rangers pitcher here in the 7th inning.
He's done a really nice job for the Rangers. 1 start, 1 relief appearance so far, 8 total innings, just the 1 walk. Very typical Bartolo Colon. 8 strikeouts as well. 1 home run in those 8 innings of work. And a lot of speculation that he'll be starting on Sunday in place of Doug Fister.
First pitch, and this one flared out to right field. Base hit. So Zach Cozart, who was the last remaining Angel without a hit, gets his first of the night. Trout has homered, walked, scored a couple of times, and takes a strike. So Colon, the 3rd pitcher of the night. Martin Perez went 3 innings, allowed 8 runs on 9 hits, walked 4. Jesse Chavez went 3 innings, allowed a couple of runs on 7 hits, no walks. Got in on the hands here, a little pop-up back up short, but that one's going to drop in. Base hit. Cozart with a great start from first, goes all the way to 3rd on that bloop single over shortstop.
Tough break for Bartolo. He made a really nice pitch to Mike Trout, and sounded like he even broke the bat of Mike Trout. Of course, he is so strong, and he's able to muscle this ball in. Good look at the 2-seam fastball right there. And look at the run. That bat shredded a little bit. But for Mike Trout, he turns it into a base hit.
Pinch runner at first base, Ryan Schimpf, has come on for Trout. Foul away. Strike 1 on Upton.
It is predominantly fastballs for Bartolo Colon. 82% of the time. And a lot of those are 2-seam fastballs. And I was talking to Matt Bush about it today. Just kind of in awe of the great movement of the 2-seam fastball of Bartolo Colon. I mean, you see that pitch right there. And he's trying to throw it away and get it to come back and catch the corner. But just really, it's amazing to watch. And you can talk about it. And you can pick up little tips from a guy. But look at the run on this ball. Again, not where he wanted it, but it was incredible. with Doug Fister. There's Matt Bush. Matt Bush was telling me he's throwing that two-seam fastball a little bit more the other night, getting away from his four-seamer. You see a changeup there from Bartolo, and that's what kind of got us on the conversation of the incredible two-seam fastball this 44-year-old man pitches for the Texas Rangers. Everybody paying attention and watching what this guy is all about and how he's been able to pitch this long in the big leagues.
1-2 to Upton. Ooh, almost went after that one. 2-2.
That's a good indicator. You know, we can tell you on TV all day long, but hitters will tell you a lot more about how pitches look. And you're right. I mean, he started to swing at that and it almost hit him. Justin Upton saw that pitch as a strike out of the hand of Bartolo Colon.
This ball got in on him. Able to muscle it out to left field. Rule will make the catch, but Cozart tags. Will score easily on the sac fly by Upton. It's the 11th run of the night for the Angels.
Designated hitter Albert Pujols.
And here's Pujols. Two more hits tonight for Pujols. Type of thing that immediately sends you running for the head-to-head stats. A couple of guys who have been after it for a little while over the years, and I wonder what kind of history they have. Well, they've faced each other 24 times. Pujols 8 for 24 with 3 homers. And this one off of Colon's glove in the air. What a double play. Heads up move by Profar. And those two share a laugh. A 1-4-3 double play, just as we wrote it up.
Only Bartolo Colon could make this happen. Of course, it was Bartolo. Get a glove on it, knock it to a teammate. Good change of direction by Jurickson Profar, and the easy throw over to first for the double play. You could not script this any better. Amazing stuff from the Rangers.
Profar goes after the first pitch of the inning. Pops this one up back at second base. The shortstop, Andrelton Simmons, is there.
The shortstop, Elvis.
Let's take you to our Southwest player breakdown. And we're going to look at Jurickson Profar and getting an opportunity, but earlier in the season, kind of bouncing around, playing some third base, some short, some second, and playing some excellent defense. We saw him there at third, and then tonight at short, turning the double play. And Also a good at bat earlier, hit the ball hard. He's had a couple of these, and you see the reaction. Kind of the bad break for Jurickson Profar, but the quality of the at bats have been very good. The defense has been very good. I'm excited. Listen, you're not happy at all that Rougned Odor goes down with an injury and will miss a couple of weeks. But to see what Jurickson Profar can do, I know he had an opportunity last year, but things certainly feeling a little bit different. See what he's done over his last 2 games. He's gotten on base, but the quality of bats, the contact has been relatively good. I think he's going to do some good things in this spot.
Andrews hits this ball well, but Young, who's just taken over in center field, able to get to it. Chris Young, new left fielder. Ryan Schimpf, who had come in to run. Now the new right fielder. Here is Adrian Beltre. Beltre 1 for 3. (11-1) our score. Bard misses a little low. So the out-of-town scoreboard. We were updating you earlier on the no-hit bid.
There's actually a couple. Homer Bailey, I think, had a no-hitter through 6 innings.
We now have an attempt at the cycle going. And that one in Kansas City, where Gene Segura, just a home run short of the cycle at the moment, and he is batting in the 8th inning of this one. It's Brian Flynn. Off the plate, 2-1 to Beltre.
It's been an interesting early start to the season, something you and I were talking about. League batting average coming into tonight, 237.
That's crazy.
That is the lowest we have seen in the first month of the season since 1968.
Beltre hits one hard into left field. That's a base hit. Adrian's 2nd hit of the night. Unbelievable.
Now
there's just no let up in Adrian Beltre.
No, it really is amazing to see what he has done, and wondering if there'll be a pinch runner for him. And breaking ball, you see the grip right there from Barton. That one backed up a little bit, and so nice job by Adrian to stay on that pitch. Drive it into left field. And Carlos Tocci will indeed come over and pinch run now for Adrian. But that batting average around the league, it'll go up a little bit. What are we up to, 23 hits tonight?
Yeah, well, let's see here.
18 for the Angels. Was that hit number 6? It was hit number 6, so now 24 for the night. We'll see if it holds. But, you know, a lot of bad weather around the league. Changes in approach. Batting averages are down in general. And it's been a slow couple of weeks to start the season in that regard, as Adrian's talking about that at bat with Elvis and what he saw from the pitcher. And that's interesting, too, because, listen, you're talking about a couple of veterans right there, future Hall of Famer. It's 11-1 in the 7th inning. Very easy to kind of be done with your day once you've been pinch run for. But Adrian Beltre is a guy who absolutely has a passion for this game, loves talking about this game, thinking about what could be next. These are guys you're going to have to face all year long, and so these are important conversations, and important conversations for young hitters that are in the vicinity to pick up on and listen a little bit. Down by 10, doesn't matter.
3-0 to Nomar Mazara.
Look out, Cap Anson.
Indeed, yeah.
He's
now
coming.
Like 19 short of catching Cap Anson.
Real good chance to get to Dave Winfield. He stays healthy, get inside the top 20.
Cap Anson, I believe, was the first ever to get to 3,000 hits. It was way back in the late 1800s.
The same mustache as Mengden from
Mengden.
Yeah, same one as far as his baseball reference picture goes.
Oh, sure enough.
Check out that beauty. You see Adrian Beltre right there, 23. But you're right, Anson.
He was a big dude. Anson, you know, when you talk about the 1800s, he was What's
6
6'2"?
foot, no, 6 foot 227. Wow, that is a big man back in the late 1800s.
Off the handle, Mazzara fights this one over third base. That one drops in for a hit. Back-to-back 2-out singles in the 7th inning. Tochi stops over at third.
The catcher, Robinson.
Oh, good job by Nomar Mazzara to fight this pitch off. You see it here, like a little slider. They were trying to go outer half, but that ball ended up finishing kind of middle in. And even though Nomar was out front a little bit, does a good job. Some good contact going the other way. As you see, the sideways spin as that ball bounced. Anson had a little Bartolo Colon in him. Played until he was 45 years old. Finished up in the 1897 season. 27 years in the big leagues.
Yeah, I think that was. I think that may still be a major league record. Chirinos pops up, foul ground. 27 years of big league ball. Hey, Bartolo might be chasing him down in that one. We go to the 8th. Bartolo got a little defensive help last inning. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa has come on to play second base.
Welcome
Called up
to the big leagues. Yeah. One of the cool things that they do on Baseball Reference, and it's not exactly accurate to the day, but we'll see what the number ultimately ends up being. But on their front page, they have the total number of big league players, and it currently stands at 19,208. And so I don't know if he'll be necessarily 19,209. Depends how many guys make their debut today, and it takes a little while to get that all straightened out. But nevertheless, he is in the registry, having played 1/3 of an inning now in the big leagues.
Fly ball to Rua for out number 1.
First baseman Jeffrey Marte.
So see, it's easy, Isaiah. Piece of cake. Good young player. We've seen a lot of him over the last couple of years at spring training. And good to see him getting his opportunity today. Jeffrey Marte, bouncer up the middle, and Kiner-Falefa is going to get an opportunity. Takes care of it. 2 away.
And a good first big league number as well, number 9.
How about that?
A lot of letters, of course, as we have some changes now here defensively. Carlos Tochi stays in the game at center field. We've showed you Kiner-Falefa at second. Jurickson Profar moves over to short. And Drew Robinson back in the infield at third base.
Chris Young takes strike one, or rather ball one. Young grounded out his last time up. He is 2 for 4. Checks his swing, and that little tapper is foul. 1-1 the count. Yesterday, Young came into the game in the middle innings, taking over for Brian Schimpf. That was in the 5th inning. Schimpf not a true outfielder. And so last night, when the score advanced to such a stage where the Angels felt comfortable, they were like, well, let's go ahead and put Young in there, solidify things defensively. Of course, as long as you're into the bullpen, you don't have to fret that, lineup composition quite as much. You can always make moves throughout the rest of the game. 2-2 pitch, and there's a swing and a miss. Strike 3 and a perfect 8th inning for Bartolo Colon. Don't ever stop Bartolo. It's too much fun with this guy. Go to the bottom of the 8th. Fees. That's transparency. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas. Let me tell you something, CJ. You need the MLB at-bat app.
I have the at-bat app.
Oh.
I don't need it. I have it. Other people need it. If you don't have it, you need it. It's better to need it and not have it.
You just
than to not
download
have
it for free.
And need it.
It's a piece of cake. Customize your experience. Watch the games on MLB.tv. Get the pitch tracking, the highlights. Oh, baby. It's something else. MLB at bat.
So there's a lot of opportunity when the Angels are in town because of the massive amount of Japanese media. Show off a little bit for you. So you just said piece of cake.
Yeah.
It's a popular kind of Japanese phrase as well.
Just the way I roll. High fly ball out to center field.
But a chance to use it in front of the Japanese reporters. And you get a look. You would get some. What? You ready? Asameshi mae.
Asameshi
mae.
Oh, mae.
Asameshi mae. Piece of cake.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a fun little phrase. If something.
That's a popular one right there.
If there's an opportunity when you're talking, we mix with those guys, talked about Ohtani, ask a lot of questions, and if it seems right, go for it. They're going to be blown away. Asameshi mae.
I'm looking forward to that.
Piece of cake.
Is there any
but it actually means like meal before breakfast.
Ooh.
But it has the same exact
Like
meaning
pancake?
as, I don't know.
Piece of pancake?
No. Just trying to arm you.
Well, will there be any cake? I don't know.
I mean, there should be.
You know,
Feels like a cake kind of night.
it does seem like a cake kind of night. 1-1 to Rua. And that one lofted to about the same spot as Gallows. 2 away. How about the big story, CJ? This was not quite a piece of cake today for Aaron Sanchez. Working on a no-hitter. Oh, 8th inning. And it was not to be.
His pitch count was well intact. Did Josh Donaldson not have a shot at that ball? It was hard to tell.
I didn't see the exit velocity, but it got down there in a hurry.
Yeah, it certainly did. But good night for Aaron Sanchez, an important piece of what the Blue Jays are trying to do. He has shown that at times, without a doubt, can be a dominant force in the rotation. He proved that tonight against an Orioles team that is really struggling offensively. There have been some issues there. A couple of guys are doing okay, but a couple are struggling mightily right now, and that's been part of the issue. Chris Davis is hitting .081. Jonathan Scope 189. Machado, though, having a really nice year, 313 so far, but the offense has gotten off to a slow start in Baltimore.
Eduardo Paredes upstairs with that one. 1-2 the count. Seems like we talk about it every year because the first couple weeks of the season, if you get off to a slow start, it just hangs over you in such a negative way for guys, because you look at the scoreboard and you see that batting average and you juxtapose it to the guys who are off to good starts, and it just is, it's just an awful thing for guys.
Same thing for those pitchers we talked about, right?
Yeah.
You let up too few runs too early. Too many, too few, whatever that was.
Probably too many, but
too many. It's probably where you want to avoid, but and it is, and the numbers are completely out of whack, and it's because of the lack of at-bats and the lack of innings. And you're right. You look out there and you see it. It's unpleasant, and it takes a little bit longer to work it down. It is helpful, one, if you're established and you've been around and have a track record. But then also if the team is doing okay, makes it a little bit easier to swallow as well.
Well, Paredes just works a 1-2-3 8th inning. We will go to the 9th tonight. That's as interesting to me, CJ. Shohei Ohtani is grabbed a bat, put on the batting gloves as if he is going to pinch hit in this 9th inning.
Well, not a bad idea. I think get him used to it, number one, because there will be some opportunities for that to happen. And as much as we see him where he doesn't hit before and after starts, day before, day after, there may be some pinch hit opportunities. Right now, he's not starting against lefties. We'll see if he starts tomorrow night. And so that's probably a role that he's not all that familiar with. And the idea of him seeing more and more big league pitching as much as possible, I think is a really good idea by Mike Sosa. So I get it. You know, mentally, a lot of guys start to check out of this game a little bit when it gets late. But who doesn't want to see 44-year-old Bartolo Colon facing 23-year-old Shohei Ohtani?
Near miss. 2-1 the count. Well, I want to see it. I'm on board. It's just the one thing that you hear talked about a lot with Ohtani is a ground ball, third base. And Robinson had to back up on that one, but recovers nicely to get Maldonado one away. I guess the one thing you hear often cited as a concern is exposure to injury for Ohtani. Right? You don't want to put him in that spot too often. But this does seem like about as safe a situation as you can get.
Bartolo Colon throws strikes. Got a good two-seam fastball. But I mean, this is the reality of a potential real situation in which he could face. Now, Bartolo, more often than not, when he's coming out of the bullpen, is a guy that is eating up innings. But I think just the feeling of pinch hitting, having to do it late. And you're right. There's a weird balance here where they want to protect Ohtani. They got to be careful. As a left-handed hitter, his pitching arm is exposed. That always would worry me, and I'd be concerned about that. I'd be concerned about foul balls. This guy is a legitimate big league hitter. There's a selfie for the ages. Put that on Instagram in the next 30 seconds.
2-1.
Here's me and Ohtani hanging out at Globe Life Park.
Remember that one time? Bouncer, first base side foul. 2-2 on Valbuena.
But I would be concerned. You know, Mike Sosa at the same time, I think, while he understands the guidelines and what they're doing, probably also says, well, I can't, you know, I'm not going to go overboard trying to protect him either. There's a fine line in there to make this whole thing work for them.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Valbuena strikes out. 2 away here in the 9th inning. And the fans who stuck around tonight and the media from Japan who follow his every move, they're rewarded. 2 out in the 9th inning, and Shohei Ohtani announced as the pinch hitter.
We saw him in spring training, and we saw him take 4 at-bats against left-handed pitchers, and he didn't look that great. That looked slow. He was late in hitters' counts, and he's made some adjustments. Look how happy these guys are. They get to do some work now after kind of sitting around the last 2 days. Big Japanese media contingent following Ohtani around. They get to earn those paychecks today, as opposed to just reporting what he had for lunch.
Ground ball, second base. Kiner Falefa will take care of Ohtani, and the inning is done. Stay tuned. The greatest all-time comeback in Rangers history could be next.
Arlington, beautiful night for baseball, not the most beautiful of baseball games. John Radigan, Pudge Rodriguez, Mark McLemore getting ready for Rangers Live. Well, we've seen a Major League debut, and we've seen Ohtani with our own eyes. We got some things to talk about.
Yeah, we do. I know they're struggling night for the Rangers. They need to come back. They need to start playing ball.
Yeah, it would be nice if they do it in this inning. If not, maybe the next one. We'll talk about it all right after the game. Rangers Live, presented by Fios by Frontier, guys.
All right, thanks, John. And top of the order in this 9th inning for the Rangers. Down by 10. And the Rangers, they had lost the opening game of every series, including last night. They'd also won the next game, game 2 of every series. But in danger tonight is Paredes, misses outside, and it's 2-1. Danger of not continuing that second trend. Two balls, 2 strikes on Chu, who's hitless so far tonight. Paredes came on last inning and worked a 1-2-3. Swings and smashes this ball out to center field. Back on it though is Young. And it just did not carry for him. 1 away. Well, Friday, April 20th, you can get the Adrian Beltre 3000th hit mini bat courtesy of Falcon Tires. First 15,000 fans to the ballpark get to take home the bat and relive this historic moment. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. Profar up there and takes one up and away.
We'll get to see an at-bat for kind of Falefa on deck. We'll get that first big league hit in his first big league at-bat. It'd be kind of nice to see. Be the second major league debut that the Rangers have had this season. Carlos Tocci, of course, is the other one.
Profar hits us a mile in the air, straight up behind second base, and Simmons tucks it away for out number 2. All right, tomorrow, the final game of this series, our Ford Probables. Jaime Barria, one of the top prospects in the Angels system, will make his major league debut. Matt Moore, you see his great numbers, a 4-0 record in 5 career starts against the Angels. His 3rd start of the year. Here is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. And it takes one down the middle for a strike.
Career .276 hitter in his 6 seasons in the minor leagues. OPS at .678. Hit 5 home runs last year. Those were the first home runs he had hit in his minor league career. Hit any from 2013 to 16, so those first 4 years. So not a power guy, but certainly has done a nice job. Respectable batting average, on base percentage. Stolen 51 bases in the minor leagues.
23 years old, and might have gotten a break right there. Tishner didn't ring him up. It's 1-2.
Really is amazing. I mean, I know we're all professional athletes, but boy, I mean, what's going on the inside doesn't seem to be reflective on what's going on the outside.
Swings and misses, and Kiner-Falefa strikes out to win this one tonight. 11-1 the final score. Very much a lopsided win for the Angels. John Radigan, Mark McLemore, and Pudge are going to be back here in a moment to break this one down for you. For CJ Nitkowski and Emily Jones, I'm Dave Raymond, inviting you to stay with us. Our coverage of Rangers baseball continues right after this.